The next speaker is Mrs. Veld for the Liberals, 2.5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. I'm afraid that I have the feeling that I ended up in the wrong theatre play and I have the wrong text in front of me. You are talking about the agreement and you completely ignored the side letter by the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, which gives an interpretation to the agreement which goes in a completely different direction from what you have just said. So I'm afraid that I am unable to share the joy just expressed by the Presidency and the Commission. I have sent to you a question that a letter that the Presidency just referred to with a number of questions, and I would very much like to get an answer to those questions, preferably during this session and if not in writing. Questions like, you said, for example, that there is no change in the number and the nature of the data, there is no change in the level of protection, but frankly, how do you then explain the part in the side letter of the Americans that says, in addition to the purpose of fighting terrorism and related crimes, we will also collect the data to fight infectious disease and other risks? I call that a considerable widening of the scope. The sharing of data has been widened to include agencies which have not all been specified. The data retention periods, the Americans now say that they may not apply the agreed data retention periods, not even to the data collected under the old agreement. The pull-push system, which you said that we have now agreed to move to a push system. I'm sorry, that is not what I read. It says that the Americans will move to the push system as soon as it's technically feasible. Well, congratulations, that was also part of the old agreement. It's been technically feasible for more than a year, and the Americans have simply refused to do it. So how can you present it this way in a press conference? Now, I would also like to get an answer on the impact on other categories, the precedent that this agreement sets. For example, the bank account details, as in the case of SWIFT, and also the telecoms records, to which the Americans also have access. Could somebody please reply to that? Then I think we should very much look at the future because, yes, unfortunately we need this agreement because the only other option would have been no agreement, in which case the member states would not have been solidary and they would have moved ahead and concluded bilateral agreements with the Americans. Now, I think for the future, and I'll conclude on this, Chair, we need a strong and clear mandate, and such a strong mandate requires the approval of the European Parliament for democratic legitimacy. That is the only basis on which a new agreement can be concluded. And therefore I hope that the bridging clause will be adopted as soon as possible, and I know that you are our ally at least on that one. Thank you very much.